In December 2016, a journalist was sent a strobing GIF on Twitter with the message, "You deserve a seizure for your posts." The journalist, who had publicly spoken about his experience with photosensitive epilepsy in the past, suffered a seizure upon opening the message and seeing the GIF. Other attacks have occurred countless times over the past 10 years. Online trolls have targeted both individuals and nonprofit organizations, such as the Epilepsy Foundation, on forums and social media sites, such as Twitter and Reddit. Exposure to content with seizure-inducing flashes or colors is not a new problem, of course. In 1997, an episode of the children's TV show Pokemon infamously caused hundreds of children in Japan to experience seizures and migraines when a series of red flashes appeared on screen. The Pokemon incident led to renewed interest in photosensitivity and the publication of several works defining 3 photosensitive risk factors: flashes, red transitions, and repeated patterns. It also led in the early 2000s, a range of creator-driven systems for detecting seizure-inducing content in videos were introduced, such as the Photosensitive Epilepsy Analysis Tool, or PEAT. We call this tool creator-driven because the person creating content is responsible for checking that their work does not contain dangerous sequences before it is released to the world. Creator-driven protections are no longer sufficient when attackers deliberately choose to evade protective mechanisms, as we saw in the 2016 journalist attack. To better protect against malicious attacks, we need photosensitive risk detection systems that are consumer-driven, meaning they can actively protect the user as they browse, rather than relying on content creators to police their own work. But what exactly does a consumer-driven system mean when it comes to protecting people with photosensitivity? What should it look like? To answer these questions, we conducted a series of interviews with people with photosensitivity. This led us to establish 4 design requirements for consumer-driven protection systems for photosensitivity. We used these design requirements to create a prototype browser extension called Photosensitivity PAL, which runs in the background of a browsing session and checks for dangerous content in all GIFs and videos the user encounters. Challenges of building a system for detecting seizure-inducing content is the lack of publicly available validation datasets. How do we make sure that our system is flagging the right GIFs? We constructed 3 validation datasets of GIFs with and without seizure-inducing sequences. The first contained 150 artificially generated GIFs that precisely matched the established thresholds for dangerous risk factors, such as sudden changes in luminance and saturation. Second, we randomly sampled 200 GIFs from online APIs to get a sense of how the system would perform on random GIFs encountered online. Finally, we needed a way to assess the system's performance on truly dangerous content, so we manually collected 137 potentially seizure-inducing GIFs from various sources, such as Google Images, 4chan, Something Awful forums, and personal websites. We compared the results from our system with PEAT, a creator-driven system. While the 2 systems largely agreed on the simulated and randomized datasets, we found large discrepancies in the potentially dangerous dataset. Many of these GIFs take advantage of looping behavior by using only 2 frames to produce a rapid flicker effect, but most existing systems do not account for this behavior. Tool for analyzing GIFs, it is possible for the first time to estimate the magnitude of the problem. How many of the GIFs we encounter each day online could be dangerous to someone with photosensitivity? We collected 2,000 GIFs from 4 online sources and found that approximately 8% could cause seizures. Dangerous flashes were the most common risk factor, occurring at nearly 7 times the rate of red transitions. So, what comes next? First, accessibility guidelines need to be updated to reflect the current threat for people with photosensitivity. Animated GIFs are constantly used to orchestrate attacks, and yet they're rarely mentioned in accessibility guidelines. People with photosensitivity have historically been underrepresented in accessibility research, despite the serious and even deadly consequences of encountering seizure-inducing content online. The work described in this paper, including our user interviews and the design, development, and evaluation of Photosensitivity PAL, are a first step towards addressing this gap and improving safety and accessibility for users with photosensitive epilepsy on the internet. To learn more, please take a look at our paper, Detecting and Defending Against Seizure-Inducing GIFs in Social Media.